They had a secret meeting without me. The whole team was there except the person the meeting was about, me. And when I found out what it was for, they'd stripped me of my role, lied about my work, and humiliated me behind my back. But when the new guy came begging me for help, I gave them exactly what they deserved. If you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do, if you've ever worked your heart out only to be treated like you don't belong, hit that like button right now. Because this story, it's about quiet revenge, served ice cold. Life in the lab. I've worked in this lab for years, a place where the hum of machines never stops and the air smells faintly of alcohol wipes and stale coffee. I'm the lab manager. I don't do the research myself, but I make sure everything runs. Ordering supplies, managing documentation, keeping samples organized. I know I'm not the scientist in the room, but I'm the one who keeps this place alive. And I've earned every ounce of respect I have, or at least I thought I had. See, I didn't start here with fancy degrees. I worked my way up, proving myself day after day. Every late night, every early morning, every moment spent cleaning up other people's messes. I did it because I loved the order of it, the precision, the quiet pride of knowing this lab wouldn't survive a week without me. So when my boss put me in charge of documentation and cryogenic storage a few months ago, it felt like recognition, like trust. What I didn't realize was how fast that trust could evaporate. It started like any other Friday, the kind that feels heavy with exhaustion but light with relief. People were whispering, gathering in little clusters. I noticed it but didn't think much. Scientists have their own projects, meetings, whatever. Until I realized every single person in the lab, except me, had gone into a closed-door meeting. First I thought, oh, maybe it's a quick project discussion. But then an hour passed, then two. When they finally came out, everyone avoided my eyes. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and the air changes? When you know something's wrong but no one will say it. That was the air that day, thick with guilt. Later one of my colleagues, a friend really, pulled me aside. Their face was tight, like they'd been holding in a secret they didn't want to share. They whispered, "Hey, you should know. That meeting was about you." My stomach dropped. What do you mean about me? They're taking you off cryogenic storage and documentation. They're saying it should go to someone more, knowledgeable. More knowledgeable, I repeated, almost laughing. I'd been doing it for months, flawlessly. Then came the kicker. Apparently someone said you messed up an experiment. That you ruined a batch. Froze. That was a lie, a total fabrication. I'd followed every protocol by the book. And I knew exactly who had said it. One of the senior scientists, the one who'd always sneered when I corrected their sloppy labeling or reminded them about safety forms. Instead of asking me, instead of verifying anything, my manager believed them. No questions, no conversation, just erased me. No one told me officially, no message, no call. Just gossip and whispers behind a closed door. That's the kind of betrayal that doesn't just sting, it burns. That afternoon I went about my work pretending everything was fine. It's strange. When you're betrayed, your body goes into autopilot. My hands were steady, labeling tubes, logging data. But my chest felt like it was collapsing inward. Every sound, the hum of the freezer, the click of pipettes, felt amplified, like the lab itself was watching me fall apart. And then came the message. Popped up on my screen near the end of the day. A message from the new person who'd apparently taken over my role. They wrote, "Hey, can you handle the cryo storage for me today? I'm still figuring things out. It needs to be done soon, so scientist name. Doesn't have to stay late." The irony. That was the same scientist who'd accused me. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just do my job for me. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me, the tired, loyal part, wanted to just do it. Keep the peace. To be the reliable one. But then another part, the part that had been ignored, disrespected, and humiliated, spoke louder. Said no. So I typed, "I'll get back to you." And I didn't. Now here's the thing about cryogenic storage. Timing matters. If you don't do it properly, samples degrade. That means someone's staying late. Very late. I didn't sabotage anything. I didn't lie. I didn't even break a rule. I simply didn't help people who'd betrayed me. When I left that day, I could hear muffled voices down the hall. Frantic, frustrated voices. The clatter of tools, the whine of machinery. I stepped into the parking lot, took a deep breath, and for the first time in weeks, smiled. I imagined that smug scientist staying late, trying to figure out what they'd done wrong. I imagined my manager realizing too late that the untrained replacement had no clue what they were doing. It wasn't dramatic revenge. No explosions, no shouting. Just quiet, poetic justice, the kind that hits harder because it's so simple. The next week, the tension in the lab was thick enough to cut with a knife. People avoided eye contact. Conversations stopped when I walked in. And my manager, suddenly they had time to talk. They called me into their office. All smiles, pretending like nothing had happened. So, I heard there was a little mix-up with the cryo samples last week. I looked them right in the eye. Oh, was there? I wouldn't know. No one told me it was still my responsibility. That wiped the smile right off their face. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. My calmness was louder than any shouting could have been. They mumbled something about communication issues and team adjustments, but we both knew the truth. They'd made a mistake. And deep down, I think they knew I'd let them live with the consequences. After that, I stopped volunteering for anything extra. I did my job, nothing more, nothing less. And you know what? The lab started realizing just how much I'd been holding together. Orders got delayed. Paperwork piled up. The knowledgeable replacement asked constant questions. One by one, people started coming back to me for help. And I helped, but on my terms. I stopped being invisible. I stopped apologizing for existing. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about showing them what your absence really costs. That night, as I left the lab with the sunset painting the windows orange, I passed the same scientist, the one who'd accused me. They looked exhausted. Their shoulders slumped. Their face red with frustration. I gave a polite smile. Long day. They glared, then looked away. I didn't need to say more. Because in that silence, that perfect, delicious silence, I'd already won. Sometimes revenge doesn't come in fiery explosions or screaming confrontations. Sometimes it's quiet, just letting people trip over the mess they made when they pushed you aside. Respect isn't given. It's earned. And lost just as easily. If that story hit home, if you've ever dreamed of standing up for yourself and letting karma do its job, smash that like button right now. Tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And don't forget to subscribe because I've got plenty more stories just like this one, where justice always finds its way.